everyone, welcome back to another episode of WHOSAY! I'm Akila, your host for today's episode, and with me I have my co-host.
Hi, my name is Wyman, and today we also have two lovely guests with us.
Hi, my name is Xuan. I'm a year 3 student majoring in infrastructure and project management. I'm also the 44th executive committee from the NUS MPCC and also the Anti-Vape ambassador.
Hi, my name is Viknesan. I'm a principal counsellor with NAMS, the Institute of Mental Health.
In the previous episode, we had two guests who shared about the anti-vaping campaign in NUS as well as the national agenda against vaping. So they talked about looking for support if you want to kick that habit. And I think in today's episode, we'll talk more about the avenues for support for students who want to stop vaping, as well as how to spot the signs of addiction. I think both of you here, in your own right, in your own capacities, have come across many people who have either vaped themselves or who are interested in helping others stop vaping. So could you share very briefly about how your roles have helped you with that?
So basically, my job as a principal counsellor is to see the patients who have addiction problems. And my job is to help them to stop. If they're not ready to stop, to try to cut down first and then eventually stop. And also look at other needs that they have, other mental health needs. And if necessary as well, to also channel them to some of the other community agencies to get further support. So we work with them to stop their substance use or their alcohol use or even their gambling. We have a whole multidisciplinary team of professionals coming together. The counsellor is just one group. We have doctors, nurses, social workers, and a whole group of mental health professionals coming together to help the individual and also their family.
Okay, then for myself as a student ambassador, we actually train and educate our MPCC members to be aware of like the anti-vape resources that is available in school. Then we also provide like a discerning ears as we go down, like we collaborate with CES to do anti-vape patrolling. So with that, we provide them like a safe space to talk to us. Like we are not there to shame them or to scold them. Yeah, more of like providing a safe space for students to talk to us.
And could you elaborate a bit more, like what is MPCC, who is CS, and how does your role as student ambassador for anti-vaping ties into your role at MPCC, or are they like separate roles?
I would say actually it's a separate role, but as MPCC, we are National Police Cadet Corps. We are like a student volunteer under Singapore Police Force. Then as for CES, it's actually a campus emergency security. Then we collab together to run like initiative to like patrol in school and all. Yeah.
So Vic, in your role at NAMS, can you tell us what kind of patients you encounter, especially within the realm of vaping, right? What are some common reasons as to why they vape, and how can we spot addiction in other people?
Okay. Again, I see a wide group of individuals who may have vaping problems, whether vaping with nicotine or vaping with K-pod, also known as etomidate. Yeah, that's a medical name. And they come from all walks of life. Yeah, a lot of the individuals that I see are from the younger population. They're much younger, and the youth population, and they come with various issues why they sort of got into vapes. It was actually peer pressure. There was a lot of stresses in life for them, and they use vapes as a way to cope, whether it's anxiety or stress or depression. Some of them also have relationship problems with their family, or even relationship problems in general. Some also their personality, sometimes there's certain social skill issues, and so sometimes vaping is a way to just to chill. Some also use it sometimes for sleep as well, for etomidate . But for nicotine, sometimes there's also this whole thing about it being cool. Many have watched things in social media, their favorite celebrities using it, sports stars. So they find it quite cool as well, and to fit with their style.
So we see that vaping is often either a coping mechanism or something that's so normalized that they think that it's okay to do.
So for different individuals, it can be very different reasons. Yeah, they're not always the same.
Based on your experience, like dealing with these individuals, right, would you say this is a coping mechanism because like they don't know there are other outlets to cope, or is it sort of a last resort type of situation?
Sometimes I think it is, in some cases, sometimes many of them may not have healthy coping mechanisms. Or many of them are going through issues in their life. Not many individuals go and talk to their friends or socialize. Some are more introverted, they may keep to themselves. And so some individuals are more likely to vape than compared to others. So it could be a coping mechanism. Like I say, sometimes it's not just about coping mechanism. Sometimes it has the vaping behavior has a function as well. Yeah, but like I said, depending on what they're vaping, whether it's nicotine or etomidate, sometimes to just deal with stressors or anxiety or something to just perk them up.
I think something you shared was that people use vapes because they have trouble sleeping. That's something that I've never heard of before, and it sounds rather uncommon actually.
When you talk about sleeping, it's usually K-pods or etomidate, not so much nicotine. Nicotine is upper, it usually perks you up. So like your normal conventional cigarettes, nicotine is used as a way to perk up, when you're stressed, so it can perk you up a bit. But when it comes to etomidate, it has an opposite effect, and we say the downer effect. So some people use it to get that effects to sleep. Some people may have sleeping issues. It's a very dysfunctional way of using substances to sleep. Many of them have also tried other substances before.
So what we're seeing here is that people are taking all these harmful substances and packaging it into something like a little gift, a package that looks so cute and so pleasant, right? But in actuality, it's really harmful. So if I suspect that someone is vaping, what should I do and how do I ascertain these signs?
If you suspect that someone is vaping, you can talk to them. Yeah, not in front of a lot of people, but privately. Check on them, show that you are concerned, because you may have noticed things in terms of their behavior that has changed. Maybe, for example, they used to socialize a lot, they used to be very happy, their grades used to be quite good, but suddenly there's a change in their grade, there's a change in their demeanor, how they express themselves, they seem to be isolated or easily irritable. These are little signs that tell you there might be a problem. I'm not saying exactly that it could be drugs or K-pod or nicotine, but there could be an issue, and what we want to do is get a clearer picture first, and if there is an issue, to encourage them to seek help with a mental health professional, for example, like NAMS, or if they want to seek help, there are also other agencies out there in the community. We Care Community Services, you have Family Service Centers, you have Feiye, you have Taiwan Kwan, you have also Sana, and many others social service partners out there who have counselors and social workers who can assist the individual and their families.
I see. So for Ying, I'm sure that as anti-vaping ambassadors, right, you have undergone some kind of training. Can you share what the training teaches you?
So during our training, we were actually taught by CES, Campus Emergency Security. So they actually told us like the various resources available in the campus. For example, if they voluntarily come to us and say like, I actually don't want to vape anymore, like what do I do with vape? Because now if they get caught, it's a legal issue, right? They can actually go to University Health Center, whereby we have trained maybe counsellor or medical doctor, etc., to actually help them. Then on top of that, if they find it inconvenient to travel to UHC or whatnot, if they see a CES security officer around, they can actually go up to them, or even if they stay in hostel, they can actually give it to like the resident fellow or master of the hall, like really voluntary, rather than they see them vaping and then they catch them, and that's a different case. Yeah, so these are various platforms they can reach out.
Let's say I know someone who is quite keen on quitting vaping, but they would rather talk to a peer of them. So what are some resources that the vape-free student ambassadors provide for example, like peer-to-peer consultation, or how can I spot a vape-free student ambassador so that I know who can I talk to if I want to quit vaping?
Maybe for that case, we want to understand like where these students come from. Are they staying in a hostel, or like just a normal student coming to school from home? So if it's hostel-wise, I think they actually have some peer support within various hall or residential as well. But if it's just a normal student, they can actually like reach out to our NPCC member as well. Then we just talk to them and know how much are they addicted to the vape. If it's not so, because like some students just curious, I just take one puff and then it become a habit. If they really need more support and they refuse to get treatment or help from UHC, they can actually go to different institutions. I think IMH, and he mentioned earlier Feiye, and various organizations that is external.
So how should a student reach out to a vape-free student ambassador, is there any like contact or is there any website that these students should go to?
Usually we have a patrolling session with CES right now. So every Tuesday, Thursday for now, that we have a few sessions to patrol different areas like school canteens. And within the hostel, we also have appointed about 3 or more student ambassadors in various hall and residential. So you can reach out through that platform as well.
Maybe from an external point of view, Vic, I'm talking to my peer about their vaping habits and they seem to get a bit riled up about it. How do I diffuse the situation?
Well, I mean, you can kind of say, that look, I'm here to try to see what I can do to help. And I'm not here to force you to do anything, but I'm just here to see as a friend, what I can do to help you and encourage you to seek some kind of help because what you are doing in terms of certain things you have noticed of their behavior, it's, you don't want to pretend it's not there. You want to see what you can do to assist because it looks like it's affecting them and you can highlight things that you have noticed about them, whether differences in their previous behavior or just things they're doing that don't seem right in terms of like it could be not attending class, it could be isolating themselves, it could be sometimes they get quite emotional. So, as a friend, you're concerned. But I can always say I can, here are some resources. I can always be prepared some resources. I checked up on the online some resources. And here are some useful resources that if there is an issue, you can consider. I'm not going to force it on them, but yet I'm going to say these are my concerns. And as a friend, I'm trying to see what I can do to look out for you, for your welfare and see how I can assist rather than pretending the problem doesn't exist.
So, how important are friends in the overall cycle of trying to quit vaping?
I think friends are very important. The right group of friends, you don't want friends who are still vaping and tell you, you quit, then that will be hypocritical in that way. But I think friends who are there to look out for you, friends who are there that notice that something's not right, and they may see you deteriorating very physically or see you deteriorating in terms of your if university student, your grades, see that, you are isolating yourself, see that something is not right, they can come there and encourage them to seek some kind of help. And also sometimes they can even follow them there are friends who do follow them to, the place of treatment, whether it's in a hospital or whether it's in the family service center or in some other social service center. That look, I will come with you just as a form of encouragement, and if necessary, also if you need me to talk to their other family members, if they are comfortable, and then you can also be there for them just to give them that just extra support.
Xuan, do you think that you've made a lasting impact on the people that you've helped?
Maybe to my closer one, for like students that maybe we just met, maybe not so much. Go back. Maybe if you really don't know what to do, you can go to the UHC website whereby there is various resources or hotline. You can get help from them. But I can still watch out from them because they are their friends and all, right? Then if really situation get tough, like this person is doing anything that is dangerous or whatnot to themselves, then just call CS immediately. It's not sabotaging them or whatnot, but it's really helping them.
Do you guys happen to know any support groups for people who are trying to quit vaping, or are there any support groups for people who are currently going through the quitting process?
Some of the social service agencies, they do have support groups for youth. They do have support group for those with addiction-related problems. In NAMS itself, we do have support groups. And our support group is called Bridge for Substance Use. And this can be very helpful for them to attend a group where others are also going through similar struggles and also know that they are not alone in this, that the help is available and there are some individuals within the group who are doing well. There's a lot of learning going on in group and there's a lot of support. So a group can be a very useful avenue to get help.
Have any of you ever come across instances of, people who want to quit vaping, talk to their peers, talk to trusted people or their loved ones, and actually manage to turn the situation around? Any memorable experiences?
I mean, there are individuals that I've seen that come for help voluntarily, and their friend actually had encouraged them, their good friend encouraged them to seek help. Their friend had actually gone online and online you have a lot of good information, but there are a lot of misinformation. But they do read up information that is relevant and use that information to in a subtle way talk to their friend to seek help, highlighting concerns that they have read up about what vaping, either nicotine or vaping intermediate can do. And they are very, very concerned, especially with the changes in the laws. So they have encouraged their loved one to seek help, and a lot of times these individuals come because they have a close relationship with friends. It's also easier when friends encourage them to seek help, and also are there to give them support and just hear them out with their struggles and difficulties they are going through, especially challenges why they have difficulty stopping their vapes, whether it's to nicotine or intermediate.
As you said, Vic, just now, like there are a lot of misinformation out there on the internet. So do you guys happen to know any trusted resources that you would like to share for people who are trying to learn or educate themselves about the harms of vaping, or they would like to learn about what are even more avenues that they could go to?
I mean, there are places like CMB and NACADA. They have National Council Against Drug Abuse. They have their website, so you can go there and get some information. NAMS also has its website, National Addiction Management Service, and they can go to the website as well to read up information about the dangers of drugs and where to seek help. Singapore Anti-Narcotics Association also has their website. So there are various websites. Again, some of these websites, you have to just double check that they are legitimate. In these websites also, they give you relevant information and also how to engage your loved ones to seek help. So there's a lot of information, not just about the dangers, but also engaging someone to seek help and talking about what they can gain from going early for help or treatment.
I think for NUS-wise, you can actually look at the UHC website, whereby there is actually like some fun fact, like probably why students vape and why they should not vape. And also there is a poster all around the campus, even in the bus, like bus stop, everywhere. You can read out about those.
So we've talked about the journey of quitting vaping, right? And I'm sure both of you have come across success stories and maybe not so successful stories. So could you share with us what did those people who succeeded in quitting vaping do that helped them do so? And what can we learn from the people who didn't manage to?
I think for me, it's more of on a success story, thankfully. So for the students who actually want to quit vape, of course, the first step they have to take is to voice out, to let us know. Then second thing is to accept the help or also the peer support if they refuse to go to UHC or whatnot. Yeah, and also discipline. Like, you need to take the courage and also the first step to stop. Because if you get addicted to it or you have the habit to do it again, then you're not going to stop. Yeah, that's for me.
I mean, I've seen individuals who, when they could not stop and all that, they spoke to their parents to tell them that they are going through some issues, and the parents were very encouraging. The parents didn't blame them or shame them or criticize them or were in condescending. They say it took a lot of courage to share what you just shared, and the parents took them to seek help at NAMS, in IMH, and they also kept away from their vape using friends, when drug using friends, and they reconnected themselves with friends who were good for their recovery, and friends who were basically encouraging and looked out for their welfare, and they also were willing to reach out to do something about this issue. The ones that didn't do so well, sometimes they were doing well for a while, but sometimes there are challenges as well. They hang out with the wrong group of friends, and who do still continuously vape, and so that can be a big temptation. And we have this saying, if you hang around a barber shop long enough, you'll get a haircut. So if you stay in an environment where people are vaping, or your friends who are not really looking out for you, then that can become a problem. So and some individuals try their best to do well, but sometimes they have urges and cravings to want to use. And if you don't have healthy support systems, you don't connect to the right resources, you don't have other healthy activities to engage in, and you isolate yourself, you disengage yourself from other kinds of activities that you used to do, the kind of support that you used to get from individuals who don't use drugs, who don't vape, who are a support to you, then sometimes you could fall back. But we don't want to look at falling back as a failure on their part. We look at it as a learning opportunity. What can you learn from this experience? Calibrate yourself and work on your recovery. Because recovery is it's a work in progress. Yeah, so not to give up. Don't look at fail as fall. Look at fail as failure, but look at fail as fall. And I learned. I pick myself up again. Learn from the last experience, strengthen my plans, put certain measures in place to move forward.
So we're seeing that friends is a recurring theme here, and also being honest with oneself.
I think apart from that, just now you say sometimes during their recovery journey, people will have certain urges to want to vape again, right? From what I know, for people who quit smoking, what they would do sometimes they would suck on lollipops. Would you recommend something similar to people who like to quit vaping because sometimes they're just addicted to the action but not the vape itself?
For many individuals, I think that there are different methods they have tried. Some work for some don't work for others. But what can do? Sometimes they can put a lollipop in their mouth. Some do hydrate themselves. There are individuals who kind of take a cold shower. Some also have someone they can talk to. They have in their handphone, they have emergency numbers. Who can they call in case of emergency? You just go out to just, whether chill out in the cafe or for coffee or they... sometimes they have people who they are close to, can be family members or friends like mentors, and sometimes they can also utilize their help. There are also individuals sometimes who have a good relationship with their counsellor or their psychologist or social worker, whether in the community or whether in IMH, and sometimes they give them a call during the official times, and they also seek help. What can I do? I'm getting these urges, what methods can I put in place? Again, like I said, there are so many things they can do. One is also when they get the urge and craving, also can they find things that can delay the gratification to go and vape? Can they find distractions? Talking about the sweet, sometimes they do something called mindfulness. And what they do is sometimes you can get a complex sweet with a few layers on it. Some of the Korean sweets, they have like few layers. They put it in their mouth and they refocus on the sweet. They focus on the breathing as well, not breathing excessively, just take a deep breath out, deep breath in and out. And then they focus on the sweet, they focus on the texture of the sweet. For some individuals, this has been helpful. And the other thing also, in the house, don't keep any kind of vaping devices or pods. Try to keep the house, a very cluttered house, very messy also, it's not good. So try to keep your environment, especially your room, clean kind of thing. So sometimes in their room also, they listen to music, they kind of chill out on, some nice, interesting clip on, on whether it's YouTube or whether on TikTok. That can be a distraction, or watch your favorite Korean drama, or watch some of your favorite programs, that don't have that drug themes in it, and are not going to be a trigger. So some individuals also have their, what I call rituals and routines. And if you can put some rituals and routines in your timetable, different rituals and routines, that will be helpful. And if whatever rituals or routines or even strategies you put in place stagnate, and find other things to do as well to enhance your life. Some people join volunteer groups, whether it's pet care or some other volunteer groups, some also go and exercise, go to the gym, or have some kind of plans. Maybe I'm going to run a marathon, or to keep fitting, so they put some things in mind in their plans. So these are very important, to have multiple distractors, not just one plan. If that plan fails, but you have backup plans. We always say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
And one of the plans could be to join the vape-free ambassadors as well. So, from both of your perspectives, when do you know that you should recommend someone to go and seek medical attention for their addiction? When is it, no longer a matter of me helping my friend, but a professional helping them?
So for myself, we don't really assume that a student vape or whatnot unless we really see them vape or they have obvious telltale indicator. For example, maybe they have like a very fidgety movement, like they hold something and then they did this, but that's not a vape lah. Then these are something that we can talk to them, check in on them to see whether did they vape and whatnot? If yes, then we direct them to the correct resources.
If they are vaping, especially vaping on etomidate, K-pods, there are potential dangers. And these potential dangers can be from generally from heart arrhythmias to other electrolyte complications, to many, sometimes it can also affect their moods, irritability, depression. So if they are facing some consequences from vaping substances and withdrawal, it's better to quickly get medical help. Don't wait because sometimes even if it's not K-pods, even if it's nicotine, some of the flavorings in there can be very toxic. And some of the flavorings, when you do heat it up, it can create a very different chemical property that can sometimes be very dangerous. And these are things that they are not aware of, and some of them have other pre-existing medical conditions. Sometimes some of these chemicals can cause lung damage and even a collapsed lung, so they have to be extra careful and always tell them as default, go and seek medical help first. Yeah, because like say complications can develop and some of them can be life-threatening.
So now, of course, with the legal repercussions coming in, right, with etomidate being classified as a Class C controlled drug under the Misuse of Drugs Act, we see that this whole vaping situation has become a lot more severe. And if, let's say, students are looking to stop vaping, looking at quitting this habit, what are some resources that they can look to if they know that this is a dire situation they're in?
I think in NUS, it's still a safe space for them to voluntarily step out and tell us that they actually vape. Then we can direct them to the right resources. And of course, they will have to surrender the vape. And thereafter, they will actually have a rehab session, or they will cater what is needed for the individuals.
I mean, the government has already stressed that if you come willingly, you're not caught, and you come willingly and surrender, and you come forward to seek help, whether in IMH or in NAMS or in the social service agencies, they're not going to take any action. Or if you don't and you get caught, then there are repercussions and consequences of that. So encourage them to go and seek help early. You can also demystify things by reading up information online. There are our government Quit Vape websites, Singapore Quit Vape website they can go to get the information of the agencies they can approach for help. There is a gov.sg /stopvaping line where they can go through, and they have all the contacts of agencies they can approach for help. This would be also, there'll be also information about the dangers of vaping and how to engage someone to seek help. And friends or family can also read up, get themselves well informed, and also approach their loved ones to those resources and encourage them. Look, if need be, I can follow you there to give you the extra encouragement to seek help, and to tell them that it's normal, to normalize it, that help is available and it's normal for individuals to seek help. Yeah, and if you seek help early, especially, that would be good, rather than wait until things get worse or things escalate in terms of their health, whether it's their mental health or physical health.
So I think at the end of this sharing, the conclusion that we arrive at is that voluntariness is very important in wanting to pull yourself out of addiction. And of course, to take that first step to go to these resources, to look for avenues for support, and to help yourself really, right? So thank you so much for being here with us today and for sharing your experiences on this entire topic of vaping.
So don't forget to follow our socials and stay tuned for another episode of
WHOSAY!
Bye-bye!